Hello, this is Dr. Rhoberta Shaler, the Relationship Help Doctor. And today I want to talk to you about how to know if you're living with a passive-aggressive man. And yes, don't worry, there are ways to find out if you're living with a passive-aggressive woman too, but that's for another time. Today I just want to help you understand what some of the traits and characteristics are that could help you identify if this is actually what the crazy-making behavior you're experiencing is all about. Passive-aggressive people make you feel as though you may have a problem, and that's usually not the case, but it takes two to be passive-aggressive, so we have to learn first which one of us it is and then what to do about it. So today's topic is, are you living with a passive-aggressive man? And there are indications that will clearly help you identify that. And as women, if you happen to be a woman listening, we have the idea that we can actually nurture people to the degree that they will change. That may be true with our children. It may be true with some very occasional adults. But when we're dealing with a passive-aggressive person, nurturing for a change is not the way to go about it, and you'll soon see why. And if you want some more information about this, I wrote an ebook about it. It's only $4.95. Run over and grab a copy. You can get it at optimizecenter.com/store. And it's called Stop That's Crazy Making, How to Quit the Passive-Aggressive Game. So if you find yourself nodding as I list these things for you today, go and grab a copy of the book and find some solutions about what to do. So let's talk about these traits. You step into a full-time, supposedly committed relationship, and you find you just can't do enough. You can't take enough, you can't put up with enough, you can't be enough, you can't be right enough, and basically you can't be wrong enough either. So here we go. Here's some things. If you know you are living with a passive-aggressive man, here are a few things to consider. If you tell him what you want, it makes it more unlikely that you will get it. It may be you think you're working as partners, but he fails to include you in critical details. It may be that he agrees on a plan, seems enthusiastic about a plan, and seems to understand the plan completely, and yet when time comes to enact it, he is absent or comes hours late and never offers an apology. Another side of that is he'll make a promise to you, and he fails to live up to it, and then when you ask him about it, somehow it's all your fault. He also shuts down when you want to talk about problems and magically turns the focus on to how he can get what he wants. Is this all sounding a bit familiar? It may be that he treats your relationship as a power struggle that he is definitely set on winning. Or he's always the victim of misunderstandings on other people's behavior. It's never him. That's what's going on in his own mind. He may also frequently make you doubt yourself and question your sanity. Now that's a big key, because that's why I wrote Stop That's Crazy Making. It makes you feel as though you are losing your mind. Another way to know if you're living with a passive-aggressive man is you too often feel emotionally bruised and you become unwilling to engage with this fellow. Why bother? It's always going to end badly, and it's going to end up being your fault anyway. Another, you back off asking anything of him because it invariably ends up becoming another opportunity for him to blame you. So you're really doing life alone when you should be doing it with this other person, either a work partner or a life partner. It feels as though his anger is always close to the surface and ready to pounce. That's not a great way to live. Passive-aggressive people are angry people, and they don't usually identify their anger. They only identify everything as your fault. A passive-aggressive man will not say what he really means. He will be indirect. He may say what he thinks you want to hear, but he will not be direct and say what he means. He's also very good at selling himself while withholding himself from you. So he sells himself to other people while withholding himself from you. Now here's a big one. There's often a big gap between who he pretends to be and how he acts. That's important. Doing nothing, he hides behind innocence and good intentions and insists he's pulling his own weight. So the gap between what he says and what he does is often very, very large and deep. And he keeps you confused and uncertain and feeling like you're walking on eggshells. Sometimes it seems like you're to be in his life just to cause a problem. And to sum it up, you're living with a passive-aggressive fellow, maybe even aggressively resistant to you, resistant to intimacy, to responsibility, and to reason. Now, these are pretty harsh traits, and nobody has them all. But if any of these, or more than one of these, are beginning to tweak your interest and have you asking yourself, am I living with a passive-aggressive man? And what can I do about it? And how do I recover from it? Grab that ebook, Stop That's Crazy Making, How to Quit the Passive-Aggressive Game. Now just know that there is a bright side. The passive-aggressive man can be transforming because it really can cause you to have a good look at who you are, what you want, what your boundaries are, and you can develop strong vision and values and boundaries and skills to feel whole and powerful and confident in any relationship. So, if you think you're living with a passive-aggressive man and he meets these criteria, it's likely that you are. Learn how to cope with this and learn how to think it through. I'm always here for you for that, and do visit the blog. There's lots about living with a passive-aggressive person there at forrelationshiphelp.com. Talk soon.